He's in the business for bounties. Here's your look at the Diamond Select Star Wars The Mandalorian PVC diorama statue. Rocketing to the skies with the targets in sight, the Mandalorian is the newest offering of the Diamond Select Gallery Diorama statue line. Just before we take to the review of Mando, the first thing we're going to want to do is figure out how tall the Mandalorian PVC Gallery Diorama statue. That's a bit of a mouthful. We're going to first figure out how tall the statue stands. How about that? I'd also like to thank the folks over at Diamond Select that provided the sample of Mandalorian that we could have a look at in this review. The statue stands 9.9 or almost 10 inches in height. We can switch that quickly to centimeters, revealing that the Mandalorian is 25.3 centimeters tall. First thing we'll do is have a look at the display base, and quite the creative display base it is. As you can see, it's generally all just smoke, but the way that they've effectively created this using a translucent plastic, not to mention the additional airbrushing of a darker color, really gives something for the eyes to capture. Speaking of capturing, you can also see some remains sitting inside the clouds of smoke as Mando jets his way away from it. Just quickly tipping it upside down very carefully, you can see basically the under construction of the display base. Again, I really love when Diamond Select gets really super creative with their display stands. And certainly when it comes to display stands, the Mandalorian has one of the coolest around. We can spin this around, you can kind of see where all the smoke emanates from, the back of the torso here with the Z6 jetpack. I love, again, the fact that they use this translucent plastic, but it doesn't necessarily start and stop with clear. As you can hopefully see, as it moves its way closer up to the exhaust areas of the jetpack, it gets, of course, introduced some additional yellow and orange, and that looks really nice. I'm guessing what they did here was probably use a clear plastic, PVC plastic, for the majority of this. And then when it came to the colors closest to the jetpack is when they went in there and started painting that. And boy, the transitioning of the two colors is super effective. Speaking of which, while we're getting a closer look at the jetpack, you can see it's all painted nicely here in silver. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of extra color that's been added. Nor do I really necessarily feel that the jetpack needs a whole lot of extra color. I think this silver is more than enough. Maybe, if anything, a brushing of maybe a dark wash of black added over top of it, just to scuff it up a little bit. I know it's not going to be the oldest of jetpacks around, but just a little bit of scuffing with dark black, I think, would have given it just a little bit of age. Maybe, if anything, down about this area right here, where, of course, the thrusters are jetting their way out here. Mando comes armed with the Ambient sniper rifle, and one little bit of removal that I had to do when I took it out of the packaging was this area right here. Diamond Select wrapped this part of the rifle in a clear plastic tubing. All I did was just slice through that and remove it off of it. I guess they probably put that there in the first place so that this part, the part that sticks away from the rifle, could possibly have broken off. Funny enough that I say that because this part actually is a removable piece. I can't 100% tell you if it was supposed to be something that was removed or if it was just the fact that there was a little bit of glue and it just wasn't strong enough to stay in place. But you can see there's a couple of little slots here, one smaller, one larger, and this actually fits just inside of that. Once it snaps in place, it's not necessarily a case where it's going to be falling off. So again, not really sure if it was broken, but again, I appreciate the fact that Diamond Select would have wrapped that for care and handling of the statue until eventually you get it in your display. I do like the pose that they've put him in. Now, he is going to be on an angled pose. We'll just put the statue down here for 1 second to see. There is a considerable drop down of the character when you have him on display. This might be a case where you want to have the statue, for example, angled sideways, so you get the full effects of what Mando could look like in flight, with, of course, the rifle actually in his hands. Looking at the head sculpt, or rather should I say the Mandalorian helmet, the paint similar to the jetpack has been pretty cleanly applied. It doesn't rely at all on additional washing to enhance the sculpting of it. In fact, the armor looks like it's brand new. Unfortunately, though, there is one little paint defect. You probably can currently see it there right above the eye area of the visor. It looks like a second pass, unfortunately of black, has made its way onto the helmet. You know, in fact, I didn't even notice it when I took it out of the packaging. But then since then, now that I know it's there, it's something I continue to keep looking at. I can't imagine it's going to be the case with every single statue, but unfortunately it is the case when we're having a look at this particular statue of mine. As certainly goes for the rest of the detailing on the piece. You'll really see there's very little in the way of extra paint that's added to it. There's no highlights, there's no lowlights, there's no shadowing that's added. It's simply just relying on one single color. So again, like the armor looks pretty brand new. I love the detailing that they've incorporated into the gauntleted areas here. And though you can't see it because his arms are covering off, you can see as well that the armor plating on the front of his torso, similar to the helmet, very shiny, polished looking silver. And that looks super sharp. I continue to want to keep moving the figure back, the statue back, just because I love the angle of having the rifle pointing towards you. Boy, does that ever look great. I like the pose in this particular statue as well. There's a lot going on for it. I wouldn't necessarily say and just write off that all of the statue is pristine. There are a few little areas, yes, here on the legs, for example, that have some scuffed up damage there on the one area of his leg. The other leg doesn't have that. And it does have a lot of additional colorings when it comes to more like the brown, the boots and stuff like that. There is a lot more coloring that goes on here that isn't necessarily the case when we're looking at his torso, for example. You can see the holstered pistol there, sculpted very nicely there as well. And I like, again, when it comes to the handle as well as the holster, that they're using different browns. I mean, you could get away easily with just using the exact same brown, but Diamond Select wants to keep the colors unique, specific to the things that are on the statue. So even things like just the brown being different from one another are things that I certainly do appreciate. Again, spinning the statue around, looking at the detailing once again on the jetpack. I know we already had looked at it before, and I do love the flowing drape of the cape. Although that cape seems pretty close to the exhaust on that jetpack, I would imagine that would probably catch fire if he wasn't too careful. It's a great looking statue. If anything, I would say one thing about the statue is it's dictated by what angle you pose the statue for yourself. We had this issue, not necessarily an issue, but when we had looked at the Morbius statue, also presented by Diamond Select, it shares the same thing as Mandalorian, where you've got the character angled down. So you aren't going to be able to see it very well from all angles. It certainly lends better, I feel, to having it under certain angles, like having it slightly tipped to the side is where you really get the full effect. I probably will find myself displaying the Mandalorian looking like this, because then you can see him with the rifle in his hand. You can still get the full details on his helmet, and you get this beautiful, beautiful effect here with the exhaust coming out from his jetpack, forming out one of the coolest looking display bases we've seen in recent memory with these gallery statue releases. Short of the one little issue that I had with the paint defect on Mandalorian's helmet, and even then, that's such a small thing to be pointing out. It certainly doesn't ruin the statue, and believe you me, there's going to be so much more that you're going to be honing in on this particular release, that the last thing you're really going to be concentrating on is just a little bit of extra black paint that happened to make its way onto the visor. It's disappointing it's there, but like I said, I'm going to be so focused in on the overall look of this statue that the last thing I'm really going to be honing in on is that little bit of extra black. You know, I'm a big fan of gallery diorama statues. You probably already know that by now, having done these over the years. And even though I'm all on board the idea of a new gallery diorama statue, the one I get most excited for are the ones of characters that are in flight poses. Or, if you can take that to the next level, a character that has a jetpack. Because not only do you have a character that can now fly on display, but you can also incorporate the exhaust that comes out from the jetpack and incorporate that into the display stand. And Diamond Select has done just that quite successfully here with the Mandalorian. I love the overall look of this statue because it has a lot of energy. There's a lot for your eyes to really look at. And in a case here in Final Looks where you've got the statue currently spinning around on a turntable, like I said, your eyes are always honing in on different aspects of it. But my favorite thing about it is the fact that he is in flight, the fact that they incorporated the smoke, and the fact that they made the smoke as part of his display stand. Well done, Diamond Select, even though he's got a little bit of a paint defect. What do you guys think of this statue? Let me know down below in the comments section. And again, a big thank you to the folks over at Diamond Select that provided the sample of the Mandalorian that we could have a look at in this review. If you guys are new to this channel and enjoying all the content you're seeing, be sure, oh, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, to turn the bell notification on, and yes, to come back to this channel regularly, because Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when you'll find new videos popping up. We are going to be having a look at some more Diamond Select releases. We are going to be having a look at some more Gallery statue releases. We're going to be having a look at a lot more. And if you do like more, make sure you're coming back to this channel, like I said, on a regular basis. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.